Hi everyone.
Hi guys.
Lovely to see you again. Dan and I just wanted to talk today about it's a little thing I got hold of recently that I think Dan hasn't smelt properly yet, and I was hoping to get his first impression. I've worn it a little bit, but actually not that much. But it's something I kind of love,
but it's quite fun. Often, if you watched our channel before, often it's the way that when we test things and talk about new fragrances, I've worn them and tried them on skin a bit, and then you get to see Joe's first impressions. This is the other way around. So Joe has in fact bought this fragrance and kind of lived with it a bit.
Yeah, so I mean, it's from a house which I hope we're going to explore a bit more, called DS and Durga. I'm sure you all know them. If you don't, check them out. It's that little packaging there, and it's called Amber Kiso. Now, we found out a little bit here, which is that this is a forest in Japan, and there's a little sort of, it's not a story as such, but a little setting the scene. A ritual in the holy Kiso forest, ceremonial katana, unguent of rare woods. So I'm guessing that's the sort of the smell world. Temple incense, leather, bushy armor. So we're going to find out what that means in a second.
To me, it's my kind of first impressions. I mean, we'll see what it smells like. But when I think amber, I think labdanum, sticky, rich.
Absolutely.
Which is not.
There she is.
When I think of the things you've just said there, forest, incense.
That's the thing with this fragrance. I think it sort of straddles two completely different perfume worlds.
Yeah.
In a way. So here we are. It's a little bottle. It's very pretty. Nice dark liquid. I smelled this a year or two ago, and I just fell in love with it. And I found there was something really troubling about it, which I couldn't put my finger on.
That's always good.
Yeah, a little sort of something.
How much? So that's 100 ml, is it?
This is 100 ml. I don't actually. I got this on a group, but I think you're looking at I think you're looking at about 150, 160 for a 50 ml, and maybe 200, 220 for a bottle this size. Yeah. I got a good deal on this on a group online, so I jumped. But yeah, give that a spray. See what you make.
And what did you say? It's 2018.
2018, yeah. So it's literally a relative baby.
Let's get stuck in. Good few sprays.
And
there.
one of those years, obviously, I was Home Minister at the time.
Yeah.
But I mean,
well,
it's sort of familiar and unfamiliar at the same time, isn't it?
But it's interesting. Straight away, I get the kind of balance of those two things. I get a slight labdanum-y stickiness, but quite a kind of bracing green brightness as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It is really bracing in the start. There's a real sort of initial blast of something very foresty and bright, I think.
But you still get that kind of, when you say the word amber, what I hope for, which is that labdanum-y, sticky, slightly vanillic.
Yeah, it's got that smoky, treacly. I mean, I think the labdanum here is a big player.
But there's a slight, bright, sharp edge to, when we talk about amber and labdanum, I think treacly, caramel, flowing, mellifluous, round things. And there's a bit of sharp edge to that flowing round.
Absolutely right. It feels like there are some croutons in the soup of whatever this is, doesn't it?
But I feel it's a kind of coniferous crouton.
Yeah, big green coniferous cup of soup,
tiny,
crunchy.
It's quite. I mean, I'm only smelling this on first impressions, but it kind of feels like I've gone into the mid slightly. I mean,
this is the interesting thing with this. For me, it's very much about the mid and the base, and it's a bit like a profumum aroma in the sense that once you get into that mid, you get that for a long time. It just goes and goes and goes.
But even
it gets sort of dusty and slightly powdery me as well.
Even on card, it feels that we've kind of. It feels this smells like quite middle.
Yeah. I think a lot of the thing here is that the top. It can have quite a sort of incensey effect. And I think that disperses quite quickly, but then it comes back in wafts. It's something that sort of keeps doing a slightly circular.
There's a nice balance of incensey and boozy, which you think of those two things as being almost polar opposites.
Yeah.
Bright energetic metallic with low, rich, treacly.
It's a weird combo that I think on paper might not necessarily make a lot of sense. But somehow it just does. And I find on skin, it gets darker and darker without getting heavier. It sort of lures you in. I don't know quite how it does that. It doesn't get heavier or darker or blacker. It does get darker, but it doesn't get sort of cloying and oppressive.
From the description, I thought it was going to start off more like something like what's Hinoki by Conde? Is it Conde Garçon? I thought we would get more of that slightly bitter, almost camphorous green. And there's a hint of it, but I feel the main thing straight away is the amber.
Yeah, actually, I've just seen something here that really does warm up on skin is this maple accord later on. It sort of gets
maple
more
syrupy, or
almost like there's an Anik guitar that I love. I can't remember.
Not Amber Fetish.
No, I do love that as well. Someone or we'll find out and add it. There's an Anik guitar that's really like a maple syrup thing, and I love it. But I mean, here in terms of notes, we've got cedar, Japanese cedar, incense, and Sawara cypress in the opening. I mean, I think maybe on skin they do more than they do on card.
I'm getting more of the kind of cypressy, greeny things, which is weird because
it's upside down, isn't it? Yeah, I did have it upside down in my bag. So
maybe that was it. Yeah,
that's what's happened. But it's an interesting one because I find it quite a meditative sort of scent. Amber things I normally find warm and comforting and sort of hugging.
Wintry and
wintry cold weather. This I just find sort of slightly aromatherapy-esque.
And you said troubling.
Still very rich. I don't know why I mean troubling, but
I know. Well, I think I get because it misfoots you. Is that the right word? Misfoots? Yeah, it misdirects you slightly because it feels like I started in the mid and now I'm getting more top. Yeah, that's only on card, and then if it's different on skin.
Well, I mean, I think it can go either way depending on what your nose decides to focus on.
Slightly kind of a hint of kind of camphousness.
Yeah, it's there, isn't it? Just wisps, kind of creeping in and out.
Much more so. I don't know if it's just my nose is becoming used to and like slightly anosmic to the kind of labdanum-y thickness, but I'm getting much more green, cedary, cypressy.
Interesting.
Bright.
But that maple, once it starts to kick in, I love because it sort of works with the labdanum. That slightly sticky, smoky.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Aspect. It seems to really bring it together. Maybe that's what I find troubling is the labdanum has this sweetness, but also this sort of savoury, dark, slightly dirty around the edges. Not enough to be funky, but
I wouldn't. It's not funky. It's more kind of forest dirt rather than raunch that I'm getting. Just hints of booziness. Not really quite booziness. Just
not a lot,
suggestions of it.
And the patchouli it starts to come out.
Patchouli.
There's some quite dry iris going on in there as well. Just little. Sort of quite subtle hints, but I think they're there. They're wisps again. But it's sort of interesting, isn't it?
It's very elegantly put together as well. Yeah. It's all. There's no kind of rough edges at all. It's all very smooth.
That's it. I find that. I find it's very mellifluous in each stage. There aren't a huge number of stages. It's not a massive, great long journey in terms of top to bottom. But I find it transitions very slowly and steadily, and it's round at every level that it can be.
It's interesting. This is a house that we've always been slightly aware of. Is it Bowmakers?
Bowmakers, and there's a Burning Barbershop. Mississippi Medicine.
We always just kind of dipped into, but never quite. This is the first one we actually talked
Yeah,
about.
I mean, I'm really keen to sort of explore more of this house because I genuinely have smelt them a few times on cards in various places and thought, oh, that's interesting.
They feel like they kind of
never bothered properly.
Almost on the cusp of indie and what I would now describe niche. I now tend to think of niche as, Zerjov, Roger Dove, Creed, those kind of like quite polite, not necessarily groundbreaking fragrances.
Yeah.
And I think DS and Durga seems to be on that kind of, they're slightly more adventurous, bordering on the indie. They're not quite your Sarah McCartney Primrose Russian.
No, they're more accessible than a lot of sort of the bolder sort of perfumes out there.
Yeah.
But there's a sort of quality to them. I think
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
There's a mark of
Oh, there's
something.
definite like elegance and it's no kind of rough edges.
But I really want to try more of them. I mean, I really, really want to try Burning Barbershop.
Yeah.
That's top of my list.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, briefly trying those in Relio White.
Yeah. And there's one. I think there's one, an Italian citrus. There's a rose. I mean, there's a Bombay radio. I mean, sort of really interesting sounding ideas. I think it's just a house that we've not explored, and I think for no good reason other than just not having the opportunity. Maybe.
Be good to know some suggestions if people out there have got their favourites or ones we should definitely try. Let us know.
But it's a beautiful little thing, isn't it? I mean, it's just the colour alone.
Yeah.
That's, it's
what
you
it
tell
looks
you're
like
gonna
a
get
boozy amber that you get.
And I mean, the longevity is it's not a big thing, but the longevity is enormous. It keeps going for days and days. So be warned, if you want to wear this, it's going to stick. It's going to stick around you. Even rubbing off on clothes, a week or two later, it's still there.
I try not to rub
big.
off on clothes.
Yeah, me too.
But,
yeah.
Lovely.
So just a little brief intro into that.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing.
House.
If out there you've got suggestions of other fragrances by DS and Durga for us to try, let us know.
Yeah.
But until next time,
bye.
Happy sniffing.